Welcome back. We are here with Ellen Rakieten. She has won 13 Emmy Awards, and she has been producer for the Oprah Winfrey Show for 23 years. She's also my good friend. Welcome to the show, Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen.
Hi.
So,
How are you?
so nice to see you again.
Girls, you are beautiful.
Aren't they?
The hair.
Yeah.
I'm just
My
thinking that's.
hair?
I want that hair. That is
have
good
it.
stuff.
We can't have it. I'm thinking. It's good.
I have to know, Hollywood Reporter called you one of the most powerful people in reality TV.
Well, that's psychotic.
How does that make you feel?
And it's not.
Well, I think that, okay, so I've been thinking about this a lot lately because people have been asking about Oprah running for president. And what's hit me lately, I'm going to try to say this articulately and fast, is I never, when you're in something like that, you're not thinking, oh, I'm saving lives, or I'm changing the conversation on sexuality or race or anything like that. And I went back and I found my very first letter from a woman who watched a show I produced that decided not to kill herself.
Wow.
And then I have thousands of those, and I left my husband and those kinds of things. So I think the distance now, starting to have some distance from that, the impact of what that all was, I understand, but when you're doing it and you have to do a daily show every day, you're not sitting there going, wow, we're doing this, we're doing that. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, I don't feel like powerful. I don't feel that. I just feel like for whatever reason, I was born to do what I was doing. And that's,
And I think that's what makes you so powerful, Ellen, is that you don't recognize that. You don't give people the impression that you think you're very powerful, and yet you are. Your energy is very powerful, your emotion is very powerful, you have a huge heart. And it's also contagious, and I think that's what makes you so powerful.
Yeah, you come in and it's like there's just this ball of energy flowing through the studio.
Who
Where it's
knew?
like, yeah,
Shit,
right?
I'm coming here every day. People.
Maybe
Who
you
knew?
should run for presidency.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh. But no, I guess, I don't know. So that's why I think it just is what I did, and I don't know how to answer, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I walked around and go, oh, I'm the most powerful person on TV, that would make me sick. And I think that's just, I don't know, I just do it. And I have to say, as we're sitting here, so can I say how I met Rob?
Please.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I picked him up last night in a bar. Just kidding.
Rolled in here
Just
this
kidding.
morning.
I rolled in this morning. My oldest child he's a great kid, and he's a basketball player and all that, and needed some guidance. And I called my dear friend who you all just met, Dr. Ramani, and I said, this would be he needs sort of a mentor kind of a person. He wasn't doing anything crazy. It wasn't like that. He just was trying to find his way for a minute, and we found Rob. And Rob basically spent months and months hanging with my son and, just teaching him different ways to think. He
So
still
good.
wears this bracelet.
Does he?
He touches it and it makes him grounded. And a couple weeks ago, he said to me, you need to follow Rob Mack's advice. You are too stressed out and you need to meditate. And I'm like, who are you? By the way. But you changed his life.
Wow.
You did. You changed his life.
I so appreciate you saying that, Ellen. You have the most amazing kids in the world. And it's so interesting because we live in a world that's so crazy and it's so chaotic, and it's crazier and more chaotic than ever. And how these kids get through it, I have no idea. I really don't, because I wouldn't know.
Thank God. I have to say, I'm sorry, Ramani, because she has two beautiful girls. I am so happy I have boys. I just think, with the Instagram girls, and I talk to all the girls,
I
I
would've been
talk
a
to their
wreck.
friends, and they're adorable girls, they're perfect, and then you go on Instagram and you're like, there's no way I could ever look like that, and the pressure, but I just would like to, it literally took a, 18 at the time, 19-year-old kid, and changed his life.
Wow.
So talk about, that's what I'm really interested in hearing, because I've never really heard the full story. What was it like for you to be a kid? I mean, did you dream of doing TV and being in production? I mean, what was that like? Can you just tell us a little bit
Yes,
about
I
your
will
journey?
tell you the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I lived in Chicago till I was in the 5th grade. And then my dad got a different job and we moved to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I was the only Jewish girl in my high school. And Mike Brown, out there, Mike, not Mike, Mike was nice. Mike Brown asked me to prom, and his parents said he couldn't take me.
Wow.
I was like, no, I'm really great. What do you mean? What are you talking about? And my brother was dating a girl who he has an amazing wife, but at the time, very much in love. And her parents said that if she kept dating him, they would cut her off.
Wow.
I was like, wow. Wow. So I don't know if it's a prevalent thing, but it's like the John Birch Society. Does anybody remember that?
No.
Romney does. Very, not, sort of Jews weren't allowed. How's that? And so I said, I have to leave here. And my sister was living in Chicago. Oh, hold on. My brother was dating somebody else after that one ended. And she was producing a local talk show in Minneapolis. And she said, come be an intern. It'll be really fun. Cut to Oprah was staffing up, and they started calling around local talk shows. At the time, there's a show called Kelly and Company, all these different, Good Morning, like a Good Morning LA or whatever, if this one had been on, and trying to find producers to staff up her national show, because she was doing a show called AM Chicago. Because they felt that, and they're right, that if you do a show like this, you have to learn how to do everything. And so somebody called me, still don't know who, flew to Chicago. It's always around a boy in my life. Dating somebody, and I remember saying, I'm going to break up with you because I'm going to Chicago. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. And I went, and I didn't take the job at first because of
The boy.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, of course,
I was
right?
like 8. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was like 10. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. So then I went back, changed my mind, and our first interview. So I was an intern at this show, and our first interview was really funny because I was actually underage, and it's the only time I've lied about my age to be
wow.
older.
Wow.
Like, who does that, right?
Especially not in this town.
And I remember I had a really cute outfit on, and Oprah was like, she told me I looked like a Kennedy, which I don't know if that was she thought that was good because she was close friends with Maria Shriver. And we went to a restaurant, and the wait person came and said, what would you like to drink? And all I could think of was MTV Spring Break. Long Island iced tea or sea breeze. I was like, let's sea breeze. And then she was like, oh my God, that's what I drink too.
Whoa.
I was like, okay.
Bonding.
That was how I got the
Right?
job. I mean,
Wow.
but like seriously. And so there's 4 of us at the beginning, working in like this big, and we all, not Oprah, but we smoked cigarettes back then in a closed room. It must have been quite pleasant. And the thing was there was no infrastructure. We just did what we wanted. So we'd come to work and say, oh my gosh, I went on a date last night, didn't call me back. Let's do that show. Oh my God, I felt fat today. Let's do that show. Oh, what are the best jeans for your butt? Let's do that show. Like it was overused words, authentic and organic, but there was no plan. There really was no plan.
Wow.
And so I think and then it just, when we went, our very first national show, welcome to the very first National Open Movie Show. If you've never seen that clip.
So you didn't feel like it was a mission. It was more just like, we're having fun, we're working, and it just like...
No, because
Wow,
our very
interesting.
first show, we could not get a guest because nobody knew who she was. We tried Don Johnson, and we sent him like sunglasses and, when it was still politically correct, a mink teddy bear. We couldn't get anybody. And we ended up doing a show called How to Get a Man to Marry You by a woman who wrote a book. Oh my gosh, my brain. Margaret Kent. Why do I remember this? But we couldn't get anybody to do the show. So we were, I don't want to say forced, but we had to figure out what we wanted to see and what we cared about. And that was really it. And then it went one thing to the next. And actually, celebrities were never a favorite of hers to do. That was always not.
Interesting.
Unless it was somebody that really came to play like a comedian. But she was never big on celebrities. So we just made it up.
So when was the moment when you went, holy crap?
I know, people ask me that. You know what? I wish I could answer you.
We made it.
I don't know. Well, the very first show, so Phil Donahue, if anybody out there
of
even
course,
knows
yeah,
who that
right?
is,
So, yeah.
that was the only other show of its kind on. And the very first show, our ratings were higher than his.
Wow.
And I remember
First
her
show.
coming into the office saying, we beat Phil Donahue. And we were like, oh my, what?
Right.
And so, but then I think when I really realized the responsibility that we had, we did a show on decorating tips, and one of the tips was put lavender. Don't do this, anybody. To put lavender oil on your light bulb because it'll smell. Well, their house burned down.
Oh.
Yeah, that was bad. So then we were like, oh, people are listening to us. Like, we can't do that. And then we did a couple of things that made us feel bad. We had Angie and Garth. They were having marital problems, and we brought his mistress out on the air to meet her for the first time. That was a bad idea. And we realized that's not what we wanted to do.
But that was that time in history
But,
around
it was
reality
actually
shows,
before-
right?
No, because like those shows, like Sally Jesse and Montel and those people weren't
They
on
hadn't
yet.
come out yet.
No, and we did that, and we realized we don't want to do that. We don't want to be the paternity testing people. And so the mission statement was inform, enlighten, uplift, and entertain.
Love
But
it.
you can put a lot in there, by the way. You can just
Pretty broad.
but we realized that, I mean, we still wanted, you got to do stuff that people are going to watch and everything, but we realized we didn't want to do that. And so I think then that was a very big turning point for us, that we didn't want to be exploitive, and we didn't, like, that's when we decided we were never going to have the KKK on again. We did those shows because we realized we were giving somebody a platform, and we were being used. We thought, oh, we're shedding light, we're shedding light.
Right.
So I think it was, there was like
Right.
a couple pivotal moments. Garth and Angie was a big one.
Right, and so fast forward today. I know that you have so many projects and
I do.
amazing things. We wanted to bring you on for Friday
Don't start
because
running for president.
Okay. No?
Not gonna happen.
Heard it here.
So because you guys, you guys are great friends, and this is about relationship. And I know that you have kind of an interest in relationship
I do.
in shows. So what is that? If you had a magic wand, what does that look like for you?
Well, I just created one. How's that?
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
really excited about it. So as we talked about, I have these 2 teenage boys, and they're funny and
Very funny.
very funny, and also very protective. And I've found more and more. I don't go to them for advice because that would be inappropriate, but every once in a while they'll say something to me. I'm like, wow, I just really didn't think about it that way. Oh, well, okay. So I decided that there should be a generational conversation. So
Wow.
mom, daughter, and then the grandmother. But the grandmother's really young. So Jada Pinkett
Right.
Smith, her daughter
Amazing.
Willow, and Jada's mom. And it's going to be great. Really
Shout out to
excited.
them. Love
I
all
love
the whole
that you're having
family.
the generational conversation
Yeah,
now.
because we all, as moms, sit and talk about our kids. Ask your kids. So that's what I started doing. Is I started, instead of saying this is what you should do, I went like, what do you think? How's that for starters? What do you think? And also, I learned early on. I co-created the Dr. Phil show, and one of the things he said to me, he had 2 boys. He said, do this. Don't say I'm proud of you. Say you're proud of yourself. So just
that's powerful.
So I think what I just started to realize is that they have a lot to say, and they have all their forums to say it. But as parents, they tell me too much, by the way. Right. My youngest son, which he will never see this, thank God. He'll never forgive me. But we were driving a couple weeks ago. I'm like, so Nick, whatever his name is, no, have you had sex? And my friends are like, I can't believe you talk to your kids that way.
Yeah.
And then
so
they're
important that you
spilling
do
the beans. They're like, okay, well, let's reel this in now. But I just, and all of my kids' friends say, we can't believe your relationship. It's not like I'm not like that mom who's endorsing drinking or smoking pot or anything, like that, but I'm real about what's happening, and I don't want them to have to hide anything.
And from a spiritual perspective, kids are, they're really our peers. We're born of whatever, and I think it's so important in our culture to listen. They have a voice, just like,
They have a
they have a
they have
great
a voice.
voice, and they know intuitively so much,
I think
wisdom
with
is
social
great.
media and everything else, their voices are, I think, and I just think that I want to hear. I was fascinated. I asked one of my kids, how easy is it to get drugs? And he was telling me last week that the new drug of choice on college campuses is, they call it bars, which
What's
is
that?
I haven't heard that.
Xanax.
Oh.
And there's some new rapper out, who's great, actually, his name's Russ. He's singing sort of against
Oh yeah,
when
the
you hear bars.
pharmaceuticals.
So, but I like the fact that it's an open, they tell me instead of hiding it from me. So I think
So
we
true.
don't, and I think this, I know a lot of parents who are doing the best they can I say ass?
Please.
But they have their heads up their ass, because not my. Not my kid. My kid would
Right,
never.
right.
No, your kid was and is, and I'm seeing it. So I think having that conversation, and having that age for somebody
So
who's
important.
articulate and open and honest about what's going on.
Oh, we're excited to see the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ellen, I wonder, what do you think is the biggest lesson that your boys have taught you?
Oh, Lord. Well, yesterday it was like, stop acting so old. Okay. Oh boy. I mean, what is the biggest lesson they've taught me? Well, oh God, I don't even know how to start with that. So I'll start to cry, and I did my makeup and everything.
Aw.
First of all, they are their own humans. So parents have children, and then they think it's their little mold to model them in their way that they see them. And I realized, I bought my son, Ralph Lauren and all the little preppy stuff when he was little, and all he did for 4 years was dress like Eminem to go to school. And I had to embrace that. I was like, whoa. And then, now he's wearing the clothes I want him to, because he got. So letting them be themselves.
Right.
Also, I think that, of course, unconditional love and those kind of things, but it's really hard as a parent to not be controlling, and not, because you're watching somebody make a mistake that you love so much. So that, to just, they've got to find their own way. And then I think the other thing is, and I have the best mom in the world, but she's a worrier. She worries about me, and I don't want her to worry about me. I want her to say, it's all good, because that's what you want from your mom. It's all good. And I'm like, no, it's awful. And you don't want her to say, no, you're right, it's awful. So I feel with my kids, it is, they want from me, no matter what I'm going through, is just to be like, it's all going to be fine. None of this really matters. And then I turn to him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, But for them, it's all gonna be okay.
Right.
And I don't care if they see me cry. I think it's okay. It's okay. I lost my temper. I lose my. I'm just trying to be myself. So, what have I learned from them? Just, I'm not a phony, and they know that. And so I don't know. I don't even know. I'm blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm rambling because there's so many different things, but we have a pretty extraordinary relationship.
Right.
Because I let them be them. But it
Incredible.
took me a long time to get there.
There's a quote I love, which is, "It's all going to be okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's the end." And so we're going to take a quick break. It's not the end. We'll be right back.